I am a professor of literature, and one of my areas of expertise is the representation, the imagination of the ocean. One thing that I really have loved about surfing is putting me in touch with the reality of the environment and its like fickleness, its changeability, the need to attend to nature, and I think that has all kinds of payoffs for just taking seriously. When you read about the sea, it's not just a metaphor, it's, you know, really a force to contend with. One of my favorite authors is Joseph Conrad, and he has a concept called craft, which he describes as the honor of labor, which is something more than just efficiency. And it's a kind of pride in technique and a pride in having things done just right. And I just really love here how every little detail is so carefully curated, and how the teaching is just awesome. I mean, as a teacher, I just can't believe that I would get out of the water at 8, and at 9 o'clock, Jessie has got the videos, and she's got the analyses and what we need to work on next, and the comparison of how she's surfing something to how I'm surfing something in the same frame. I mean, it's just really extraordinary. So the video coaching is truly outstanding. I mean, I don't know, as I say, most ships in literature, everything goes wrong. And this is the opposite.
My first time at Surf Simply was April or March of 2018 at the old resort.
How did you find out about Surf Simply?
From the YouTube videos that Rue originally posted about the elephant on the front of a speedboat and how you have to have paddle speed.
Whiteboard Wednesday.
To plane out, yeah, the Whiteboard Wednesdays, to plane out the speedboat. And I just loved them. And I was sending them to my surfing friends, and I just thought, go for it.
I was ready to book something in Nicaragua, a women's surf camp, and then my husband found the article in Outside Magazine. And he's like, look at this. Then now it's an addiction. Yeah.
I started surfing because I love being in the water, and I found out about Surf Simply through a friend of mine who had come here years ago. So actually my first year was back in 2018, and this is my 4th time back.
We used to go to San Diego every summer for vacation and spend 2 weeks on the beach and just beach it and just boogie board. Love the ocean. But for some reason never surfed, but always wanted to. And then as I got older, I was like, well, hey, let's try this out.
The first time I saw her surfing, I was just like, okay, I want to do this a lot. And I had surfed before, but it never really became a love of mine. Over certainly 2 times here, discovering my own deep love for surfing.
Oh, love that. And so I moved to a little beach town called Pacifica, and I think the first day that I got my rental apartment, I went down to the surf shop and bought a longboard, and that started a very bumpy journey into endeavoring to use the thing.
I must have started about 15 years ago, and my motivation was just a big life change. Like, I moved from New York City to California. I felt really disconnected from California, and one day I took a surf lesson and I just loved it, and I discovered the beauty of nature, and I just kind of got hooked.
We have a bunch of friends who have been here, and there was the one time where all we heard was positive rave reviews and not a single caveat. I had to do a little bit of convincing to get Adam to come down.
It was expensive, and I was nervous, and I was like, I just can't imagine it'll be that much. I even tried to engineer alternatives. Like, we could hire our surf coach in Pacifica this many days a week for this many months, but she convinced me, and we've already booked our next trip. It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, this is our second time.
Incredible.
I always want to work with Derek. We are like soulmates from another life. I love working with him. I'm guessing most people who have worked with him would say something similar because he's just such a good guy. Definitely made progress this week. It's been fun.
Totally. Yeah. The puzzle pieces are getting put together this week. It was really fun. I also had Derek. We were together. And it was, you know, we're singing songs out the back. And so there's a lot of fun that's going on. But Derek kind of knows us so well that he's able to see what the next step is, the progression that we're working for.
Refresher of carving turns. So some of the scenarios that I pull, just the hips go back. It is okay to let that chest lean out over that rail. What we want to be careful of is letting that left arm come over. That's usually when we're rolling the windows down, right?
Marlon is an amazing coach because he's one of those people who genuinely loves teaching. And what I experienced in getting to surf with him was that he was so excited about my own progress that I got excited about my progress.
Last segment, in a very slow segment in front of you, I would say let's start moving around, playing with different things because the wave is not going to be intimidating.
Yeah.
And even if it breaks completely immediately behind you, you're going to have a great chance of making it past that segment. So we can do some faded takeoffs this afternoon. Isn't that funny, dude?
And surfing just became a lot more like playful and exploratory rather than like gripping and grinding my teeth and feeling terrified to like waste a wave.
I saw her dropping into the just monster steep waves that she never would have before, I don't think. And she did it with a smile on her face.
It's been really great working with Jessie. She's like the other coaches I've worked with here, she's like really analytical and thorough and funny and has a great sense of, you know, when to give you a lot of feedback and when just to pull back.
Every coach is a little bit different, and even though they're all following the same structure, I love that they all bring something different to what they see, what they communicate, and what they push you to strive for. It's one of the best parts about this place.
So what we want as surfers then is we want to be an optimum distance. We don't want to be too close to the storms because, number one, we might get all the bad weather that's associated with the storms, which is what happens in the UK. Invariably, we do get the waves, but then that big low pressure storm just tracks across the UK. We get one day of good surf and then 3 days of rain and misery. But we don't want to be too far away because we'll just only get really small waves.
There's a wonderful book by Mark Twain, which is not about the ocean, it's about the river, the Mississippi River, called Life on the Mississippi, where he discusses learning to be a riverboat pilot, which is an extremely challenging endeavor. The riverboat pilot had to memorize the entire stretch of the river that he navigated, which for Twain was 1,500 miles, and then as he was navigating, compare the current conditions to the conditions in his memory, and the river was always shifting. And he describes his apprenticeship in what he calls learning to read the face of the water, and how the water was a wonderful book and the best book that was ever written because it was always changing. And I think that there are a lot of skills in there that really relate to surfing.
You can't control the ocean. The only thing that you can do is kind of try to recognize what's happening and make the best possible move in that moment and continuously be in awareness. And so I think it's this incredible practice in being present, being aware, not allowing anything else to creep into your head because a wave will definitely crash on your head. And I think that's just as true out in the rest of life as in anything else, which is basically like attention, care, enjoyment, and remembering to take it easy.
You have a week at Surf Simply. You have the months leading up to it in which you establish good habits to get ready for it. Working out, eating better, sleeping more, all those different things.
Not drinking.
She said it, not me, but yes. And then you have your week at Surf Simply, and then you come home and you've got this fallout in a good way of inspiration and motivation and connection. And so like in any given year, Surf Simply occupies in a good way a third of my time and makes me a better person for it. So, I mean, come on, what more could you ask for, right?
So I'm a retired psychologist, and there's this thing about group theory that when you are put together in a really intense environment, you establish these bonds that this place just sets itself up to create these wonderful relationships.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good point.
It's amazing. It's so fun.
The whole experience is exquisite, and what I appreciate is I feel so cared for in like every aspect of my being while being here, like nourished with the food and with Lao's stretching class and with the information that's coming in the lectures, that it's just helping me like relax and be present. And so I think no one pillar holds it up. It's like the balance of all of these things, and everyone just really doing such an exceptional job.
Yeah, it's the seamless integration. I think that's the magic of this place.